Blessings, beautiful beings. Thank you so much for joining me today. For practice, if you have a few blankets or a bolster and then maybe some yoga blocks, go ahead and grab those if you feel like you might need it. If not, that's okay. And if you don't have like yoga blocks, that's okay. Don't worry about it. You can always grab like some thick books, like if you just happen to have some old textbooks lying around, something like that. So just something a little that can bring the floor up to you. You don't have to have like a Mexican blanket like I have here. You can have just a normal blanket. Um, and then you don't have to have like a fancy bolster. It can just be like a pillow or anything like that. So grab whatever you have around if you think you'll need any props, and if not, that's okay too. And we are going to start on our mat in a comfortable seat. So I'm going to move back all the way and come into my comfortable seat. Now it might feel, if you do have a blanket or a pillow, you can always sit on it to bring your hips up a little bit, and that'll bring your knees below your hip points, and that's a little bit kinder to your joints. If not, no worries, just sit on the floor. And we're going to start and get really grounded before we begin our practice. So depending on where you are coming from today, if you just got off of work, or maybe it's just been really hectic with errands and things like that, then just take a moment to really ground and to get focused, and you can even set an intention while you're here if you'd like. So you can go ahead and you can place your arms in your hands on your lap. They can be face down, face up, whatever feels comfortable to you. And then you can soften your gaze or even close your eyes. Again, do whatever feels comfortable to you in your body today. And we'll take a few moments just to focus on our breath. So just really slowing down, preparing our mind and body for our practice today. Letting go of anything that's happened in the day thus far, or maybe if you're starting your day with this, just getting ready for your day, not worrying about that to-do list. And here's Fritz. He says hello. We pulled his purple bone out from underneath the couch, so he's very happy about that. All right, we're going to move into something called 4-7-8 breathing. We'll do just a few breaths of it so you can kind of get used to it, but it's a really good way to calm the mind and any anxiety that might be going on, and it can also even help you sleep. So what we'll do is we'll inhale for a count of 4, we'll exhale for a count of, we will inhale for a count of 4, we will hold at the top for a count of 7, and then we're going to exhale for a count of 8. Don't worry if you don't do it perfectly. It's okay. It can take a little bit of time. If you start feeling lightheaded or dizzy, then let it go. You don't have to do that. I don't want you to get dizzy and pass out or anything like that. So we're going to start here in a moment. So just go ahead and take just one big breath and let it all go, and then we'll start. My mat's all folded up. So we will inhale and then exhale and let it go. All right. So we are going to start. So let's inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll do it just a couple more times. 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One last time. Let's inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a big inhale and exhale. You can let out an audible sigh and just let that go. Take a few breaths just on your own, just normal breathing, and just see how you feel. When you're ready, you can focus your gaze, or you can open your eyes and come back to your surroundings. You can watch Fritz get in my face. All right, so hopefully you feel really grounded and centered and ready for practice today. So you're going to have to get up. I'm sorry. This is not a good spot for you. So we're going to transition onto hands and knees. I'm going to remove a Fritz here. Here, you want a blanket? There you go. There's your bun. Here. All right. All right, so we'll go ahead and transition to hands and knees. And I have a few different levels for you, so take what feels right for you today. So make sure your knees are under your hip points, hands underneath your shoulders. And to start, go ahead and send your right leg out long. Now you might say here. If you'd like a little more, go ahead and lift your toes up off the ground. Keep your toes dialed down towards the floor. Don't let them turn out to the side or anything. So make sure they're pointed towards the floor. So you might say here, or go ahead and reach out through your left hand, thumb facing towards the ceiling like you're shaking someone's hand, and then look forward. So you should be feeling a nice stretch. And maybe you play with this and try this out and see how it feels. And if having the arm up is too much, go ahead and lower it down, or having the foot up is too much, go ahead and lower it down. Really make this your own practice. All right, after your next exhale, go ahead and lower your knee to the floor and your hand to the floor if it's up. And then just take a few breaths, compare both sides. All right, now we're going to repeat on the other side. So go ahead and stretch your left leg out long. You should feel a nice stretch in your calf, your leg. And now you might stay here. If you'd like to go a little further. Lift that left leg up off the ground. Keep your toes dialed down. And breathe. If you'd like a little bit more, reach your right arm straight out. Thumb pointed up towards the ceiling, pinky side down. Feel a nice stretch through the side body. And keep breathing. After your next exhale, go ahead and lower your hand, if it's extended in your knee, to the floor. And then we're going to go ahead and bring our knees as wide as the yoga mat. On an inhale, look forward, and on an exhale, go ahead and sink your hips back towards your heels. Reach your arms forward, and you can melt your forehead down to the floor, coming into a nice extended child's pose. And remember to keep breathing. After your next exhale, look forward. Go ahead and return back to your tabletop position. So knees under your hips, arms underneath the shoulders. And we're going to take our hands and walk them just one handprint in front of where they were. Press into your thumb, your pointer finger, and your middle finger. Then we're going to tuck our toes under. Take a nice big inhale, and on an exhale, go ahead and hover your knees. Inhale, and then on your next exhale, shift the hips up, back, and down, straighten through the knees, push through the hands, and we're going to come into a downward facing dog. Now from here, you can walk your dog, bending one knee and then the other. Then when you're ready, go ahead and bring that to stillness. Straighten through the knees and breathe. On your next inhale, look forward. We're going to make our way to the top of the mat, so you can hop, jump, step, float, however you prefer to get up towards the top of the mat. This is where you can use blocks if you have them, so you can bring the floor up to you. You want to keep a nice soft bend in the knees, and then make sure you're not rounding through your back in this forward fold. So you can put the block on different levels to bring the floor up to you, depending on your flexibility and your hamstrings for today. On an inhale, go ahead and bring your hands to your shin. Keep a nice flat back, look forward. And on an exhale, go ahead and melt it down, forward fold. And we'll breathe here for a moment. On your next inhale, go ahead and rise up, loop your shoulders up, back and down. Fix your clothing if you need to. And then we're going to come into this mountain pose. So stack head over heart, heart over pelvis. Look forward and really ground your feet into the mat. Feeling nice and stable and supported. Next inhale, lift your arms up towards the ceiling. And on an exhale, hinge at the hips, float forward, coming back into that forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway, nice flat back. Exhale, let it go and come forward into that forward fold. And breathe. All right, when you're ready, we're going to step our right foot back, and you can lower that knee to the floor and untuck your toes if you like. So we're going to come into a nice low lunge. Make sure that this left knee is at a 90-degree angle, that the knee isn't coming over the ankle. And then push that knee out towards your pinky edge of your toe. So you want to be able to see your big toe. Keep a nice lift up through the chest. You can keep your hands on the mat or fingertips on the mat. You can also, if you have blocks or books, you can also bring those underneath your hands to kind of bring the ground up to you. You should be feeling a nice stretch in the right quad. And breathe. Your next inhale, go ahead and shift your hips back. Peel the toes of your left foot up and point your toe, bring your toes up towards your face. Stay nice and light on your fingertips and look forward. You don't have to sit all the way back to your heel. You should be feeling a nice stretch in your hamstring on that left side. After your next exhale, go ahead and roll back through that left foot. We're going to come back into that lunge. This time, make sure to plant your hands and then tuck the toes under of your right foot and then go ahead and lift that knee. So coming up into a little bit of a higher lunge. If this doesn't feel good to you, go ahead and leave your knee on the ground. And then after your next exhale, go ahead and rock back and forth on that right foot. And then we're going to come and step that right foot to meet the left foot, coming back into that forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, lower and release into that forward fold. And breathe. We're going to repeat all of that on the other side. So when you're ready, go ahead and step your left foot back. Go ahead and lower that knee to the floor and untuck your toes. And then make sure that your right knee is in the correct alignment. From here again, you can keep your hands on the floor. You can come up to your fingers. You could also use your blocks. And breathe. Keep a nice lift up through the chest. Feel a nice stretch in that left quad. Your next exhale, shift your hips back, peel your right toes up and towards your forehead, look forward, keep a nice lift in your chest, coming into that nice hamstring stretch on the right side. After your next exhale, go ahead and roll forward, coming back into that low lunge. Then when you're ready, or if it feels good in your body today, tuck the toes on that left foot. Go ahead and lift the knee. Keep looking forward. You can go ahead and rock your left foot back and forth a couple times, and when you're ready, go ahead and step that all the way up towards the top to meet your right foot, coming back into that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Take a few deep breaths. All right, after your next exhale, we're going to go ahead and step our right foot back again. This time we're going to stay up. So again, find your alignment. Make sure that your left knee is at a nice 90-degree angle. You're pushing that knee out towards your pinky toe. Keep your hips nice and square. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. Your feet should be on two separate train tracks. So just coming into a nice high lunge here. You can bend that back knee to drop into it a little more, to drop your center, and breathe. Again, if this does not feel good to you, then you can lower your right leg to the mat and use your blocks too. After your next exhale, go ahead and lower your fingertips down to the floor. Really place your right hand into the floor mat next to the inside of your left foot, and then turn your torso to the inside of your left leg. So you can stay here coming into a twist, or if it feels good, you can extend that left arm up towards the ceiling, coming into a nice big twist, and breathe. Make sure you're not collapsing in your head, so keep it nice and straight and in line with your spine. You can look up towards your left hand or look down towards your right hand. When you're ready, go ahead and drop that left hand down to the mat. And then we're going to step our left foot back to meet our right, coming into our first plank for today. So make sure to really push through the heels. Keep a nice straight line through your torso and breathe. All right, after your next exhale, go ahead and lower slowly all the way down to your belly. Make sure your hands are underneath your shoulders, or in line with your shoulders or the top of your rib cage, I should say. And on an inhale, look forward, bring your chest up slightly, coming into a nice low baby cobra. And breathe. I'm just kind of warming up the back a little bit. All right, after your next exhale, go ahead and lower down, tuck the toes. Take a nice big inhale, and on an exhale, push yourself back up into a plank. Take a big inhale here, and on an exhale, lift the hips up, back, and down, coming into another downward facing dog. And breathe. Right, really ground down through that left foot. Go ahead and raise your right foot up. On an inhale and on an exhale, bend that knee in towards your chest, shift forward, look forward, and we're going to plant that right foot in between our hands. And then go ahead and raise your torso up if you can without falling into that nice high lunge again. And again, take any adjustments that you need to feel stable in your body. So you might have to shorten your stance or maybe make it a little bit bigger. But take the time to get really grounded and to feel comfortable here. And then breathe. Right after your next exhale, go ahead and lower your torso back down towards the floor. Really plant your left palm on the inside of your right foot. And then we're going to turn our torsos to the right to a nice twist. Again, you can lift that right arm up towards the ceiling if it feels good in your body. Otherwise, you can leave it down at your hip. And breathe. After your next exhale, go ahead and lower that right arm down to the other side of your right foot, and we are going to step our right foot back to meet our left foot, coming into another plank pose. We'll take just a couple breaths here. So breathe. And on your next exhale, go ahead and lower all the way down to the mat. Don't belly flop. Palms underneath your shoulders. Inhale, look forward, lift up through your chest. If you'd like a little bit more, you can push through the hands and come up a little further. If you feel any crunchiness in your back though, lower back down to where it feels comfortable to you and it's not hurting you. And breathe. On your next exhale, go ahead and lower back down towards the floor. Tuck your toes under. And on an inhale, lift up into a plank. And on an exhale, go ahead and send it back into a downward facing dog. We'll take just a few breaths here. Your next inhale, look forward. We're going to make our way back up towards the top of the mat. Coming back into that forward fold, so you can hop, you can step, you can jump, you can take a few baby steps like I did. Inhale, come halfway up, flat back. Exhale, lower all the way back down. Take a couple breaths here. On your next exhale, go ahead and slowly roll all the way up to standing. Once you get up to the top, lift your shoulders up, back and down, coming back into a mountain pose. Get really grounded here and just take a moment to feel all of the energy rush down through your body. All right, so from here we're going to move into a balancing pose. If this does not feel good in your body, just I'll do some different levels so that way you can kind of find your comfort level. Stick with that. I don't want anyone to get hurt. If you have blocks nearby, you can definitely use them for this. But go ahead from the top of your mat and let's step our left foot back. And then kind of just come onto like the ball of the toe. Keep most of your weight in that right foot and in that right knee. Keep a slight bend in your right knee. Keep your hips pointed towards the short edge of your mat. From here, you can hinge forward. Now you might stay here, or if it feels comfortable to you, maybe you start to float that left foot up off the ground, hinging forward a little bit more, coming into a warrior three. Make sure to keep your hips squared towards the mat. So this might be where you use some blocks to kind of help you out. You can also float your arms back like airplane arms. Or you can shoot them straight forward and come into a full warrior three. One more breath here. And on an exhale, go ahead and return back to that mountain pose. Shake it off. Shake through that right foot, that right leg. Woo. If you fell out during it, that's okay. Don't get frustrated with yourself. Don't beat yourself up about it. Again, it's a practice, so you might not nail it today. You may not nail it tomorrow, but maybe the next day or the next week you might. Just continually practice that. Your balance will improve. Your strength in your legs will improve, and that will help to get into that pose. And if you can't get into that pose, that's okay too. You don't have to. Even just hinging forward and having that weight on the right foot or on that right leg does a lot of work for you too. So don't beat yourself up or feel like a failure if you fell out. It happens. It's probably going to happen on my left side when we come to do that. My right side is stronger, so we'll see. All right, ready for the other side? Yes, I think we are. All right. So we're going to get nice and grounded here. Go ahead and shift the weight to the left side, but don't dump all your hip or all your weight in the left side where your hip pops out like a Beyonce mom hip carrying your kid. Keep it nice and pulled in through your center. And then also make sure to have a little bit of a bend in that left knee. You don't want to lock it out. And then when you're ready, just step the right toes back. Keep the toes on the ground here. And then really find your footing. If this is plenty for you, stay here. Don't go any further. That's perfectly okay. This is challenging enough if you have any balance challenges between the two sides. This could be perfectly fine. If you want to go a step further, go ahead and start to lean your torso forward. Keep everything nice and square. It helps with balance if you find a place on the floor or in front of you that is not moving. If it's moving, you'll lose your balance, but if you focus on something that's not moving, that really helps. Now you can stay here, or maybe you start to float that right foot off the ground and come forward a little bit more. And then maybe not. Maybe you fall out of it, and that's okay. You can always try again. Again, you can use blocks underneath you to help to pull that, or to get yourself into that posture. You don't want to pull yourself into it. The main thing, make sure your hips are pointed towards your mat. You don't want to open up to the side like this or anything like that, because that's not the posture, and that can cause damage in your body. So if you can't, if you're here and you find yourself turning, go ahead and lower down a level. It's okay. Alignment is more important than trying to be in the full posture. Again, if you're able to go in the full posture, you can bring your hands behind you like in airplane arms, or you can shoot them forward and come into that full expression of a warrior three. You can see on this side, my hips like to turn, so I'm going to use my blocks. And breathe. One more breath here, and then we'll go ahead and come out of that pose. Shake it off. Shake through your body. And again, if you struggled with that, that's okay. I struggled with my left side too. So everyone's different levels. And just honoring that in your body is going to benefit you more than trying to force it into a certain shape that you think it needs to be in. So really listen to your body, honor it, and honor where you're at today. So you can see I struggled too. All right, let's come back to our mountain pose. Take a nice big inhale, and then exhale. You can sigh it out, letting that whole exercise go. All right, on your next inhale, go ahead and reach up towards the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips, float your fingertips down towards the earth. Inhale, come up halfway, nice flat back. Exhale, let it all go, coming down into that nice forward fold. We'll take a few breaths here. All right, now not to scare you, we've got another kind of challenging sequence coming up. So make sure your hands are planted on the mat. You can bend your knees if you need to. You can step the right foot back and then the left foot back, and we're going to come into a plank. Make sure you're nice and grounded here and breathe. Make sure you're not rounding through the back like I just was. And then if you are ready, we're going to turn on to the edge of our right foot, come down on our, really plant your left foot up, and then we're going to come and turn our body to the side. So we're going to come into this side plank. Now you have some options here. You can bring this left foot forward and come down into like a kickstand almost. Move my hand. I want to make sure my arm is right underneath my shoulder. It was a little bit out. So adjust as you need to. If you'd like a little bit more, you can also stack your feet. You can lift that top foot up. You can lift your arm up towards the ceiling. You can leave your arm here. Or if you'd like, you can even send your arm up past your ear. So go to what feels good to you today. If this is a little much, you can also lower that back knee down and just come here. All right, after your next exhale, let's go ahead and return back to center. Coming back into just a regular plank. Actually, let's lower our knees to the floor. You can sit back. Let's get off of our wrist for a minute. You can shake out your wrists. You can bend. You can push your hands out like to a wall, or you can bring your fingertips down for this called thriller arms. That'll stretch out your wrist really well. All right, we have our left side to do, and then we'll start to cool it down. Well, I have one last little challenge, but it's not a plank. It is for your abs, but it's not a plank. So be ready. And then after that, then we'll cool down and relax. All right, so we're gonna come back into our plank. So go ahead and get set up. Send one foot out, then the other. Push through the heels, nice straight back. And when you're ready, turn onto the left edge of your foot, bringing your right foot to the mat, coming towards, or turning towards that right side, coming onto your left arm. Again, you have options. You can bring that right foot in as a kickstand. You could stack your feet. You could lift your left foot up. You lift your right foot up. And lift your left foot up. You can bring your right arm towards the ceiling. You can stretch your right arm overhead. Make sure to keep a nice lift in the hips though. You can also bend that left knee down to the ground. So again, go where it feels comfortable to you. And breathe. Make sure that your chest is not turning towards the mat. You really want it turning towards the side. So if you're facing a wall like I am, you want it facing that wall and not collapsing. Wherever you're at, take one more breath. And on your exhale, return back to center. Bring your knees down to the mat. You can bring your knees as wide as the mat. Look forward and then shift your hips back. Walk your fingertips forward and then rest your head on the mat, coming into a child's pose. And breathe. You can sigh it out. It was a tough little couple sequences there in a row. All right, and then when you're ready, let's go ahead and walk back up. Go ahead and transition to one side. Whichever side is your favorite side. We're going to come to sit on our behinds here. And I'm changing my mind in between this about what I want to do. Let's flip back over into tabletop. Let's open up our hips a little bit. My hips are a little tight. So I apologize if you sat down already. Come back into a tabletop position. We'll make this nice and quick. This will feel good, hopefully. So go ahead and stretch your right leg out. And then on your inhale, go ahead and bring that knee forward in between your can walk that left foot back. If your right leg does not come to a 90-degree angle like this, that's okay. You can bring that foot in closer. Go ahead and stretch up like you're coming into that cobra pose. And then on an exhale, you can melt it down. So you can bring your forearms to the mat. You can walk it out further. You can stack your forearms and bring your head down. And you should feel a nice stretch though in the outer right hip. And just take a couple breaths here. After your next exhale, go ahead and look forward. Bring yourself back up. And we'll transition back to that tabletop position. All right, take a couple breaths here. Just compare the two sides. That was not the challenging pose I was thinking of. I'm giving you guys a little bit of a break, so I'm kind of changing my sequence here, so it's not hard. Or a more difficult pose, and then another more difficult pose, and then another one. Some people might want that, but you need a break like I did. We'll go this way. All right, let's go ahead and stretch our left foot back and out. And then on an exhale, go ahead and bring that in between your knees. You can walk your left leg back if you need to. Get a little more length. Again, you should feel a nice stretch in this outer left hip. If it's coming up off the mat, remove the purple bone. You can even bring like a blanket or a towel, and you can lift the mat up to you a little bit if you need to, and just kind of come sit on it. Make sure to keep breathing. Again, you have some options. You can walk your arms down. You can bring your forehead to the mat. You can stack your forearms and just bring your forearms to your hands. You could stay here. You could even stay up if you'd like. Again, do whatever feels right in your body today, and breathe. And then once you're ready, go ahead and come up. We're going to come back into that tabletop position. And then let's do one more downward facing dog. So go ahead and tuck your toes under. Take a nice big inhale, and on an exhale, lift the hips up, back, and down. Just stretching through the legs one last time. All right, and then after your next breath, go ahead and walk your feet in a little bit, and then you can kind of crouch down into a little ball. And then from here, you can transition on to your bottom. And now we'll get into our challenging pose. So go ahead and place your feet on the floor, back up nice and straight. And let's start by bringing our hands behind our thighs. And loop your shoulders up, back and down, nice straight back. And then from here, lean back a little bit, and then maybe you take one foot up. If you'd like a little more, maybe take the other foot up. If you only want to do one foot, then make sure to alternate between the two. Maybe you let go of behind your legs. Maybe you straighten your legs, coming into a full boat pose. If any of these levels feel too difficult to you or are too much of a struggle, come back to one of the other ones. Those are fine too. You can reach up. We'll take one more breath here. Feeling that shake, and then lower all the way back down. All right, that was the last challenging pose. So give yourself a clap. You made it. We're gonna start to cool it down and just calm everything back down again. So go ahead and lie on your back. And let's bring our knees into our chest. Oh, that should feel really good on your lower back. You can rock side to side if that feels good. You might feel some popping. I have some popping going on. If you'd like, you can take a twist. You can bring your knees over to, actually, we will all do that. So go ahead and from this knees into your chest, go ahead and lower your knees over towards the right side. And breathe. When you're ready, go ahead and return to center. Take a breath in, and on an exhale, lower your knees over to the left side. And breathe. Now I have my arms extended out to either side, just straight out, just like a T. You can also bring a hand on top of the top leg. Again, do what feels good in your body for today. And then after your next exhale, let's go ahead and come back to center. Bring your knees into your chest. And one last time, give yourself a nice big hug. And then let it go. Go ahead and bring your feet down to the mat. From here, bring the soles of your feet together to touch, and we're going to butterfly our knees out. So we're coming into this reclined cobbler's pose. If your knees don't go all the way down to the floor, the mat, you can always bring a blanket or pillow, and you can prop them up underneath your knees or even your blocks, and that'll give you some height, and it might make it a little bit more comfortable. You can bring your hands to your belly, you can bring your hands out. So again, just listen to whatever you feel like you need for today and what feels good in your body. And we'll just breathe here. All right, after your next exhale, go ahead and bring your fingertips to the outside of your knees, and then slowly close the legs back in towards each other, and then we'll bring our feet to the mat, and then walk your feet all the way to the edge of your mat, and then bring your knees to touch in the center. So we're coming into kind of a constructive rest pose. So we opened up our hips, and now we're rotating our hips the other way. So I think it's abduct, now we're adducting. Add, maybe. I could be opposite. Remember to keep breathing, just rest here, relax. You have a puppy that came over to see you. You can pet them. And after your next exhale, go ahead and walk your feet back in a hip distance apart. And then stretch out one leg. Stretch out the other. Bring your feet as wide as the mat. And bring your arms out to a 45-degree angle, palms facing up or down. Maybe even pinky side to the mat. You can also bring your hands, I like to bring my left hand onto my heart, my right hand onto my belly. So just settle in. You bring your shoulder blades under you. If you need to grab any props, a blanket, feel free to do so. We're coming into our final resting pose, Shavasana. Take some nice deep breaths. You can soften your gaze or close your eyes. And just really focus on your breath. You should be feeling that rush of energy going through your body from the practice today. Now I'm going to go quiet while you guys are here for just a moment. Don't worry, I will watch the time. So I'm still here with you. Just relax and enjoy. For those of you that have practiced with me before, you know that I always pull an oracle card for the practice. I also did that for today, and the card I pulled was Moth Spirit. And the message is surrender now. The message that comes with it says, Moth Spirit asks, what is guiding you right now? Are you in alignment with Spirit or pursuing something or someone with so much tenacity that it has become a compulsion or addiction? Are you so intoxicated by a potential relationship or opportunity that you can't think straight? Hard work and dedication are virtues, and love, of course, is a beautiful thing. However, when Moth Spirit appears, it is time to consider if you have gone over the edge in a relentless pursuit. Workaholism, overeating, perfectionism, or addiction to certainty or even to a person may be your current vice. The form of your addiction does not matter so much as awareness of the consequences of remaining persistent when moderation is needed. Let go of your excessive energy by channeling it in more than one direction. The fire burns hot, and you do not want to be engulfed by your passion to the exclusion of all the other pursuits that matter to you. Now is a time for surrender and radical acceptance so that your drive does not cause you to flee or to fight. Spirit wants you to release your need for certainty and control so that you can relax into a more balanced way of using your Moth Spirit energy. Banish the shoulds and musts so that you can enjoy what is as you allow for what might be. If you are able to stay in Shavasana for longer, feel free to stay as long as time allows. If you need to go on to the rest of your day or evening or whatever you're practicing, then slowly start to deepen your breath. You can wiggle fingers and toes to start to wake the body up again. And then when you're ready, go ahead and roll onto your side. And it can be your favorite side, whichever one you like. And then come into a fetal position, just resting your hand on your arm. And just stay there for a couple breaths. When you're ready, go ahead and push yourself up into a nice seated position, bringing your head and neck up last. And then the final thing you'll do is just slowly open your eyes if they were still closed. So thank you so much for spending your time and your energy and your practice with me today. With anyone else that happens to practice this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll put something here, maybe here, I don't know. It'll be somewhere to where you can click it and it will subscribe you to it. I do free videos once a month. Usually it's at the beginning. If you would like more, you can subscribe to my Patreon account. There you have the whole library of videos, and I put out a new video every week. So that has these free ones plus those ones that I do, and it's a really low price. It's like $10 a month. So, and then you get the whole library. And you get a new video every week. So, um, please go check that out if you like this and are wanting more. Otherwise, if you just like and subscribe to this channel, that would be great. You'll get notified. You can also, there's like a notification bell where you can get notifications when I put new ones out too. But again, thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day and week. Namaste.